Hi Aquarius, welcome to your reading for July 2023. I know I'm late, I apologize. Things are just kind of out of my control. So anyway, here we are, probably the perfect time. So this is going to be for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Some of you were intuitively guided, and thank you for paying attention to your intuition. Some of you may be here checking up on an Aquarius's energy, see what's going on. If that's the case, I feel like you'll receive messages also because you guys know you're here. So this is an intuitive read, and we're just going to go ahead and get into it. All right, so we're going to use 4 different decks. We're going to use Mother Mary for our words of wisdom. For July, I brought back the major arcanas. I shoot for 3 of them, and I feel like they just, they help give us more clarity in the reading. They always relate back to the reading, but sometimes they are their own little message too, so we'll see. I was called to use them, so we'll see. We're going to use the Gilded Tarot to do clarifying, or to go deeper. And it was interesting because I was torn between 2 decks for you. Like, something was saying bring out the old deck, and I can't even think of the deck's name. I know it was one of my favorites. It's interesting I can't think of its name though. But then the psychic deck kept calling, like, for Aquarius, the psychic deck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the psychic deck, Psychic Tarot it's called, for your main spread. And I don't know, there may be something at the end that we will surround. A lot of times we'll see, like the 2 cups with like something, and at the end we'll just surround those 2 cards, to get to the root of it. So we'll bring them in somehow, some way. All right, but let's go ahead and get into your reading, because these are longer readings. They're deep. They're, of course, going to let us know the situation, give us clarity on that, and then I feel like there's always solutions, and it may be just how how each looks at it. So, I don't know. All right, let's begin. Aquarius, one of my favorite plays, my all-time favorite. Health. All right, health. My prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. My prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. So something to do with health that can relate to. Sometimes it's like the clearing of our mind, because when our thoughts run rampant, I feel like it shows. It's going to show itself in other ways. Like high blood pressure. With stress and worry. But the way I'm feeling it, it's like things that are beyond my control, and I gotta let them go and let them be. We'll read this from the book at the end. It'll make complete sense then. So, health. But my prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. All right, let's bring in the major arcanas. Everything's pre-shuffled, by the way. Just give it a couple shuffles while you're here. Let's give them a cut. All right. We have the Hangman. Interesting. Hangman. It can speak of time, like something that's on hold. Often feel like, the Hangman is seeking some type of wisdom. on their next steps. But it's interesting because, this guy's like loosely tied to this branch, and his hands are loosely bound. Like, he has the illusion that maybe he thinks there is no solution, but there is, and it probably starts with him freeing himself, putting his feet on the ground. Okay. Anyway, can certainly speak about a period of time, something that's been on hold. His body's swaying this direction, so we'll see. We'll see what it's swaying towards. Temperance, divine timing. When is divine timing? First of all, this person being like tied to this branch and hands tied behind his back, but again, very loosely bound. When is the right timing? I feel like, well, first of all, this person's got to put their feet on the ground, and they got to know that, maybe that they're not stuck. It can certainly feel that way. I get it. But at the same time, and maybe for some, I'm losing my patience, because Temperance's first message is patience. Patience while, everything comes together as maybe it was meant to be. I don't think I can really speed up Temperance's energy if it's not meant to be at a certain time, but I certainly feel like I have my part here. And again, I feel like this person's got to, put their feet on the ground. And keep using that term. Can just mean I have to get my own energy grounded. I feel like you're looking at something backwards, like upside down. Okay, this is a lot, but we're going to take them because they're all face up. With the Lovers. Interesting. Temperance is controlling the Lovers. Divine timing. The Moon. The Death card. Interesting. And then Judgment. See, this is its own little reading, I can tell. Because I feel like, first of all, here's Temperance, right? The controller of all of this. Their Judgment is a message of calling oneself to the present moment. Like, maybe I am feeling like, because there's uncertainties of what's next and how things will be, maybe I am hesitant on closing a door, right? Putting my feet down on the ground and perhaps opening the next door. Because Death card talks about an ending. Temperance feels like they're waiting for that ending. And then Death card speaks about a rebirth. Like, I close that door, another one is going to open. It just is. And then Judgment kind of like backing that up. Both speak about a rebirth. And it's interesting because above Judgment is the Lovers. So, I feel like if in any way, like maybe I'm trying to control either the Lovers, or that, another, or the timing of this, Temperance is like, well, it's like, let go of control. But I do feel in the same breath, do your part. Like get yourself grounded, close whatever doors. Don't be afraid of, what's next, even if there is a little bit of uncertainty. Sign-wise, because I know some people probably are like, hey, you're not saying the sign. So we have Sagittarius, we have Gemini, we have Pisces, ruler of Cancer, and then we have Scorpio. Interesting. Okay. Well, we're going to keep that. And we're going to bring that up right here. It's kind of taking a lot of room. I feel like I'm going to move this over here. And I'm telling you, it's all going to tie back to your reading. I mean, this is your reading. But, you know, I feel like they're all going to tie back to each other. You know, the Death card, looking back at the moon, almost saying, you know, sometimes you have to close the door, even if you're uncertain what the future may hold, right? Judgment is like present day moment, right? Moment by moment. Moment by moment. Both speaking about a rebirth. Two energies immediately speak of time. All right. Let's go ahead and bring in the Psychic Tarot. Prosperity begins. Ace of Pentacles. I mean, that's good news. You know what I mean? It's an ace. This is a type of ace that is tangible. You know, has roots, can take root, can definitely expand your world. Without a doubt. For some of you, it has something to do maybe with your prosperity. Excuse me. With the waiting game. Interesting. Interesting. You know, I've been getting this card a lot, the waiting game, and it always makes me feel like it's someone who's like just pacing back and forth, pacing back and forth. You know, almost like the rings of Saturn. We have patience and planning. You know, I feel like I almost feel like I'm looking at two different perspectives, or even two different people, because I feel like over here, it's the same as like the Hangman over here. Like, you know, maybe I'm receiving this ace, and it is a blessing, right? But it is up to me what I'm going to do with it, and maybe I'm trying to push it too quickly, too fast. Because I feel like what's mirroring it, the 7, would talk about like, slow down, you move too fast, you know, patience. And what's the patience for? So that you can have a plan. You can put a plan in place. You know, maybe you're sitting here waiting to see if something's going to work out. Instead of just going around and round and round and round, like, start putting your own plan in place. 7, 8, 9, 10 to the 1. We have sacrifice. We have temperance again. Patience. Divine timing. You know, under the waiting game. Like, interesting, because like whatever is, I hate to use the word opposing her energy, because both seem to have that. I don't feel like either wins. You know, it's almost like divine timing is divine timing, period. Interesting. It's interesting that sacrifices under prosperity begins. It's almost like something's being paid back to you. Whether that's something spiritually, or whether it's just like, like I was meant to go through some type of journey where it did require some type of sacrifice for me. And then I feel like it's almost like this Ace of Pentacles is, like your soul's reward. I don't think you did it because of that, because I don't feel like you even knew it. If that makes sense. Intuition. That tells me with this Ace of Pentacles and what you do with it, like, trust your intuition over anything. I feel like it's like, yeah, I know I had to sacrifice something. I know I had to sacrifice something if I was going to, maybe move into like the Ace of Pentacles and patience and planning. It makes me feel like you're putting something, excuse me, like you are or you have put something together. And I feel like don't, like, how do I say this? Like, I'm saying, like, don't rush yourself. Or another way of saying that is maybe, maybe all didn't come together the way you had hoped, like, and how you saw this seed. But I have a feeling in time, where you end up may be different than where you thought. But I feel like it's very good at the same time. Okay. We have the Two Swords. We have moving on. All right, well, let's talk about this for a second, because it's the Six of Swords. That means that, something within the sacrifice was toxic to you anyway. That's what the Five of Swords talks about. The people around me, situations, can be bad communication, can be all of that. Where you feel like, I got a dagger in the back. So, I had to have a good look at that. And maybe the sacrifice is sometimes, sometimes we look at our life and we know what we want, or somewhere we get that realization, and maybe not everybody fits on that path. And maybe that's just okay. Maybe that's okay. So, you made the conscious choice to move forward, to move out of it, to make a change. And I love Temperance right above that, because it's like almost like divine recognizing you, you being real with yourself. What else am I holding? The Four of Swords. That makes sense. Because you do have the energy of sacrifice here. Because I feel like the waiting game is connected back to the Two of Swords. And I feel like neither one of them feel good. But I feel like the Six of Swords is what gave you clarity over the two. The waiting game, and then two, mental conflict. Rest and rejuvenation. Sometimes we're healing as we're moving. It's okay. Like, sometimes, yeah. Sometimes we crawl in bed and heal, But sometimes, our healing is, it's like ongoing. The one thing about this Four of Swords, and you can't really see it here, but, there's three swords, and it does speak about, things that maybe broke your heart. Doesn't always have to be love. Can just be like, things not turning out the way I thought. Because there is the fourth sword, and that's the one we lie upon. That's our truth. Being really real with ourselves, letting our intuition help guide us. That's why we have it. It's a gift. And the more we use it, the stronger it feels. It's like a muscle. Okay. I'm looking at both of these spreads. Well, let's see what's on the bottom of this deck first. Well, that's good. Victory and success. I feel like over here, like, maybe I had to change courses, directions, like allow this dream to come true versus how I thought it was going to be. And I don't know why I'm picking up on that. And I do feel like, again, if I just trace it back, it's like, some type of sacrifice had to be made. If this Ace of Pentacles is going to blossom, where do we hope it to go? Well, to the 9 or 10, right? 9 of Pentacles is where I could take care of me. Maybe I'm doing my own thing, my own business. No wonder I kept saying I felt like the Hangman needed to get grounded, because over here I feel like there's a lot of energy of somebody is like getting grounded, and that alone is helping them to, find this path. And listen, prosperity begins. It begins. Well, there's that 9 of Pentacles. Victory and success over it. I almost get this feeling that, we could be talking about two people who were once in love, and I feel like over here, this person maybe had, like, sacrificed more of their wishes, their hopes, how they wanted, what the seeds they wanted to plant, and nurture and what have you. And maybe we're given, like, a little bit of false promises, your time will come, but doesn't seem like it does. So I feel like, part of, and listen, I feel like as souls, like, we're not here just to experience love. Yes, it's a big part, but many of us are here to have our own, like, life experiences. So maybe I had to sacrifice this over here. And I feel like if that was the case, it wasn't easy. However, at the same time, I feel like there you are in the waiting game, Maybe I was waiting for someone to make a commitment. And in the meantime, it's almost like I put my life on hold. My dreams. But I don't feel like anymore. We could be talking many years in between here. Alright. Let's bring in the Gilded Tarot. And let's go deeper. I'm sorry, I should have brought this lid down a long time ago. I'm so sorry, guys. Look at that, 10 of Swords. Well, if I'm talking about two different people here, it does feel like the one over here took the brunt of a lot. Because the Ten of Swords is like taking that dagger over and over and over again. You know, and sometimes we may ask ourselves, like, you know, maybe at the 5, we had that realization that, you know, like, maybe I was wearing a blindfold, like that I thought things would get better, would change, but I feel like they don't, and they didn't. And some of you may question, like, you know, what if I did stay? And I feel like it's saying it would probably go to the Ten of Swords. And a Ten of Swords can turn into like a repeat pattern, submission, you know, and maybe for a while you're in this energy. So it makes sense that, like, I don't want it again. I don't know. I just feel like this is a year that we're just not waiting. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are just like who've been waiting for whatever they're waiting for. I feel like, you know, if your intuition is telling you otherwise, you know, you feel like your guides are showing you signs. Because I feel like a lot of us are just like, I'm not going to keep waiting. Anyway, we have the King of Swords. Could be waiting on the King. Can represent, of course, an Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, King of Swords over the waiting game, and the Ten of Swords next on. We have the Devil, card of Capricorn. Can certainly represent a Capricorn. I feel like in a way, honestly, like, it's almost like I was waiting for someone to grow up who just wasn't ready to grow up. And maybe I thought I can change that, I can control it, but I feel like, no. You know, because it's like, it's an inner choice. Doesn't mean you weren't worth it, all that, you know what I mean? Because I definitely feel like sometimes someone like that, you know, they do end up suffering a lot of consequences or having a lot of, like, you know what I mean? Like, when the fun is over. Like, maybe I should have. And maybe that's part of it here. So, in a way, I feel like, yeah. They just, I just get this feeling like they weren't ready to grow up. It could even signify like the starting of the next part of a relationship. You know what I mean? Like a commitment, or for some it could even be further than that. Well, hello. Marriage. 4 of Wands. And then we have the 5 of Pentacles. Interesting. You know, I feel like there's someone who's saying, you know, I didn't have any other choice. I feel like love, or the lack of love, that was not why I left. You know, it wasn't because I didn't love someone. It was because, you know, I finally came to that place of knowing, right, that probably nothing is going to change. You know, and I don't know, maybe this king eventually does something that you know, where it becomes enough is enough. I feel like this king may have been someone who could have like great rises, great falls. Probably because he needs to ground himself. So, you know, I'm going to be honest. I don't feel like love or the lack of love is in the equation here. On either side, I have to be honest. Doesn't mean that I did the right things or they did the right things. Just means that, you know, that maybe I made some stupid decisions. We have the Hierophant, card of Taurus. You know, I love it over intuition, the High Priestess, because definitely feels that connection, right? It's about you and it's about your belief system. You know, it's like we got heaven and hell right here. And, you know, is this something that's meant to come back together? Maybe. But I have to say this, if that's the case, I feel like, in a way, listen, whoever this might be, I feel like you're being protected and guided, but I also feel they're being protected and guided. I do feel like, you know, they have to take a shot in the dark. Okay. Keep going. You know, I feel like the person over here, I feel like, you know, when I think about commitment, marriage, love, I think of it as like eternity. You know, like, I don't feel like whoever whoever this may be that became part of the sacrifice, I don't feel like, I don't know. Like, I wish things could have been different, but they weren't. Doesn't mean they can't be. And even if this is someone completely unbeknownst to you, I feel like what it's saying, because I feel like, because the Four of Wands is also touching the Ace of Pentacles, I feel like this has to be part of what's next, right? What's all part of divine timing. You know, it's interesting because Temperance is controlling the Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles can feel like, you know, like you received a tower. The feeling of being thrown out into the cold. You know, and I also get the feeling this person over here, like, they were more daring, like, after the fact. And I do feel like you probably found or are finding, like, your soul tribe. Like, people who think more like you. You know, it's almost like I really wanted this person to be who I wanted him to be, and I wanted us to be in this, you know, I feel like maybe in my mind I have, like, you know, how I hold love and marriage, like, close to my heart. Okay. And that doesn't mean that this person doesn't, but I don't feel like they did then. Or let's just put it another way. I feel like, you know, it may have been in their life plan, but I feel like it was not at the same time. We have the King of Pentacles. It can be a Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. And then, hello, Star. You know, I love the Star coming over the Six of Swords because this is showing me how strong this person has become. And I feel like this is mainly you. And I feel like, you know, your experiences, man, they have really taught you a lot. And I feel like not just taught you a lot, but I get this feeling like you keep going. Like you just keep going. And I feel like when I said earlier, like, I don't need to lay in bed to heal. I'll heal as I keep moving. I feel like that's your attitude. And I love that the star card is attached to that. First of all, that is your major arcana. That is you rebounding. You know, and who knows, maybe someone else shows along the road, along the way. Maybe they can give me everything that you couldn't. And I don't mean you. Unless you're over here, maybe I do. Alright, we have the Death card. Card Scorpio again. We have the Chariot. You know, I kind of love the Death card and then the Chariot, because it's like, okay, close the door, boom, here's another door with the Chariot awaiting you. You know, unlimited potential in the Chariot's energy. We're in the year of the Chariot. And I really noticed the 7 in patience and planning. Like, that really stuck out to me. And I don't know why I didn't say that. But again, I'm feeling this year. You know, and I love this as if this is like where your vibration is moving to. It just feels like really of the light. Now, it doesn't mean, you know, I often think people think tarot readers like we got our shit together because we get these messages all the time. No. You know, there's a lot of times I'll look at a reading and I'll be like, okay, I can see that message is for me too. You know what I mean? So anyway, I don't know why I'm saying that. We have the Strength card, double Leo on the board. We have the World, the next chapter. Dun 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 dun. The next chapter attached to the star. And hello, lovers. So the lovers jumped over from here over to here. And they're connected to the world. I can't make this up. And the world is connected to the star. I was like afraid to turn this over. But it couldn't be more perfect. The Fool. You know, it's interesting because this side of the reading we opened up with the Ace. And the last card, so to speak, is the Fool. The Fool is like, you know, listen, I feel like whatever doors needed to close, I feel like you have that realization by now. And sometimes it's just letting go of what was, and sometimes the explanation of why things didn't go the way I wanted to go. I mean, there's a million different reasons, but sometimes it's because someone else, you know, it can't be ready, isn't ready. But don't think that maybe that wasn't meant to happen, because again, I feel like it kind of, you know, it opens up another door for you that maybe, I don't know, probably would have opened anyway, but I feel like maybe it is through these difficult times that like a lot of wisdom goes into like watering this Ace. You know, I feel like if I'm going to love again, then I got to learn to forgive. Doesn't mean I'm saying it's okay what someone did, but I got to leave it where it was in the past. Because if I don't take on the Fool's energy, am I not doomed to repeat? And I feel like the Ten of Swords is saying yes. Now, why is that? Because, I don't know. Maybe I go in with the notion that, you know, right off the bat, this person's going to be immature and untrustworthy. I don't know. But again, that's all because of past energy. And listen, I feel like with this spiritual type energy over here that you are now, you can very clearly tell if something's good or not good for you. You know what I mean? And don't allow yourself to overthink it. Just trust. And, you know, yes, maybe someone is coming back. The Lovers did jump from over here to over here. Attached to the world, the next chapter. Again, that Death card, like, no matter which direction I look, the Death card, close the door, boom, the Chariot's on one side, the world's on the other side. And the Lovers and the Fool are both in this next chapter. Kind of beautiful. Alright, I think what I'm going to do, just to use these a little bit, is, you know, I mean, here's the Lovers. What can I say? It jumped from over here to over here, and it's clearly part of the next chapter. And it's clearly telling us what type of energy would let's say, give us a better chance. And that's the Fool's energy, right? The Fool can be foolish, yes. But I feel like this is talking more energy, because especially with the Hierophant right there. Like, if I have my belief system intact and my wisdom. Alright. Well, that didn't take long. Look at that with the Ten of Swords again. Interesting. We have the Five of Wands. You know, I'm going to be honest. I feel like both people are feeling like they got the Ten of Swords energy. Like, almost like whatever you do to me, I do to you too. Because I feel like, and then you have the Five of Wands above the Lovers. And I feel like there was a lot of egotistical type energy. Or another way of putting it, I feel like a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting. And I feel like when the fighting, because maybe there was so much chemistry, I also feel like when there was fighting, like, it got nasty. It got nasty. But I feel like it both of us, to be honest. Now, if it wasn't you, I apologize, but I do feel like I feel both. Alright. The High Priestess, right over the Fool. You know, the High Priestess would tell the Fool, I am your GPS as you begin this new chapter. Trust in me. And I feel like the High Priestess is your higher self. So if I was also part of this, then I just need to know that. Not to judge myself, just so I can see, like, okay. But I feel like a lot of it was just the chemistry. We have the Alchemist, Manifester. And then we have the King of Cups. And I kind of love seeing the King Cups here, because I feel like it doesn't matter what sign, right? This is someone who I feel like would want to be in a committed relationship. You know, I simply feel like we have moved from what was. And I feel like, really, let's not regret. Let's just learn. And I feel like for some of you, you know, it's like you put your dreams on the back burner. And I feel like, you know, it was like, somewhere along the way you decided not to do that any longer. Maybe it really became too much. Because that does feel like a lot. But I get it. I get it, because I feel like it's almost like before we can learn how to really control our emotions, find balance with our emotions, like we just let them fly. You know, I feel like first of all, I feel like no way would this be coming back on the table if it wasn't meant to be. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be. Know that. And I feel like you'll be fine no matter what, because I feel like your vibration really has raised, and I really feel like your spirituality over here, and I feel your belief like in love, like soul to soul. I feel like you really do want this, like a certain type of relationship, or you want real love. Let's just put it that way, because I feel like let go of the rest. Let go of the rest. So, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. Why am I going to argue that? I don't think I'm going to argue that. I feel like it is what it is. All right, let's read health. I found it very interesting that the Lovers came from one side over to the other. And Temperance. And the Death card. And Judgment. I feel like the main thing over here is this person's like, almost like afraid to make a move until I know. Yeah, what do I want to know? It's almost like I'm looking for clarity before I make a move. Well, sometimes you can't know until you move into it. And I feel like it's like this person has to like get grounded and take a chance. I almost felt like he's the Fool in reverse. Anyway, health. This card comes to you as a reassurance that your prayers about health and healing have reached heaven above. This may be answered differently than you expect, however, so it's important to stay alert and open to your intuitive feelings, which guide you to action steps. Take them, even if they seem illogical or unrelated to your prayers. Mother Mary sends you and your loved ones her blessings. Like her, you can receive and transmit God's magnificent healing love. You may even feel called to conduct healing sessions professionally, and this card assures you that your calling is fully supported by heaven. How interesting, because that's exactly what I felt over here. And even if I feel like even if I didn't know where I was going to end up, where I ended up or where I'm ending up is pretty great. And I don't know why Mother Teresa's coming to mind, because I don't feel like I had to live that type of life, but I do feel like I don't know, like I had to make sacrifices for the greater good. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I really cannot wait to hear your comments. I feel like we have two different people here. Could be the love. I feel like it's the Lovers. But I want your take on it. It could all be together, but I don't know. I feel like there's we're telling two separate stories here. Anyway, I love you guys. By the way, the Ace of Pentacles, prosperity begins, and then the Nine of Pentacles under there, material, harvest, victory, and success. I feel like, if you're questioning, like, is this the right path? Will I be able to take care of myself? I feel like in time you will. Keep nurturing what you love. But anyway, I love you guys. I don't even have a clue what I'm going to title this. It's like, how do you title something and say something hop from one side to the other side? Anyway, I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.